This next patient, she was referred to us for a failing bridge from 6 to 11. It's, has I'm sorry, 6 to 10, and then 11's failing. That's tied into number 14. We discussed several different treatment options. This tooth is actually pretty good. All this has to go. This tooth's great, so is this molar. We decided to place 4 implants, here, 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 and here. And we were going to save on money, we just elected to remove this tooth. It's kind of in the way, and all we had to do was do a 4-unit full arch and keep her in first molar support. So I've already stitched this guy together. I've already placed the implants. The neat part about this is, you know, I want to make sure that all these are coming out of the teeth. You can see in the canines it's coming out towards the lingual, from the central fossil groove here. So what I'm going to do is, in this image you can see it better, I want to get a hard tissue guide, so I'm going to use this tooth, and this tooth for support. So my plan is to section the bridge here, remove all these teeth. I could even actually section this one tooth off, take out this canine bridge here, and I could even use this tooth as well for support in the middle. So we'd have a support structure from 1, 2, 3, 4 teeth. So all I'm going to do is cut out this, including the canine, cut all this out along with the canine, and make an implant supported bridge across these natural teeth. So what we'll do is we'll lock all these implants. I changed the tube's diameter to a 2.1. I need the tubes to show when I'm making the cuts. We're just going to work in this profile here, keeping this tooth. So what we can do is go into surfaces, click on model scan, change the transparency a little bit so I can start seeing where the guide tooths stick out. And I'm going to go ahead and start making my cuts. I like to put it at an angle right here so I'm not accidentally cutting anything on the opposite side. Or you could even do something like this. This would probably be even better. What you have a tendency to do is, if you're cutting like this, then you inadvertently cut back here if it's not in the right trajectory format. So I'm going to use this right here and just press cut tool. You don't have to hold down shift, you just go ahead and do this. That'll eliminate those 2 teeth. So what I'm going to do is, actually, it's a common mistake that I always make. Before you do anything to a permanent mesh, you should always take this model and duplicate it. And it's super easy to do. All you have to do is just click this button here, and I'm just going to call this duplicate, or you can call this cut, because I'm actually going to cut this one. I'll turn this one off, change the color on this one to pink, and we'll work in this. So I'm going to go ahead and use our cut tool, back again. Cut along here, keeping that lateral. Inevitably, when you cut the mesh, you'll get an error. I'm okay. I don't want to trim too much of that lateral, because it won't allow the guide to seat. And you can kind of see how I'm cutting here. So what I'll do is I'll just use a cut tool again. Just remove this a little bit, and then just remove this little piece right here. Alright, so now all I have to do is remove this. If you'll recall, this is a 4-unit bridge, and all I need to do is remove this canine and these 2 teeth. So using my cut tool again. So I have this, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that lip. Alright, so let's go back and review this one more time. So what I'm doing is, if you cut too much into this tooth, it won't see properly, but if you don't cut enough, it's quite the opposite. It'll still see, regardless if this is taken out or not. So the plan of action, I'll go back to it again so we can review this. It might be a little confusing. Is I'm sectioning this tooth off, removing this tooth number 6 along with 7, 8, 9, leaving number 10, extracting number 11, section this tooth, and removing this 3 inner bridge. And I'm going to use this tooth, this lateral, and tooth number 14. So now I have that right here. And all I have to do is, I'm really not like this color. I'm going to change this color again. It's a little harsh. All right. All I need to do now is, and you can kind of see it a little bit better here. You kind of just want to, you don't want to have to take everything off. You can be a little bit better about removing this, but it's not a big deal. As long as it has good hard stops on the teeth, that's the biggest concern. You can see I did trim a little bit of this lateral off, which is going to be an issue. So I can either go back and remesh this or add this back, or just once I 3D print my little guide, I can just trim this out knowing that it's not going to seat fully. You can actually also 3D print this if you wanted to double check it before the patient's scheduled. So I just kind of have a rough cut of what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to go into guide panel, make sure I'm on the model cut, and I'm going to draw for the maxilla, holding the shift key down. Alright, let's edit that, make sure it looks good. Bring all this up. And now it looks like it's ready. So we're going to continue to modify it a little bit. I don't have to get this to seat all the way behind the tooth. And then moving this up a little bit. I don't need it to rest so much on the soft tissues. Looks good on that tooth. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this guide. Let's press create surgical guide. The software think for a second. So there you have it. This is our little soft tissue, our little tooth-borne guide. And what I like about this is you're going to be able to see it seating on this tooth, this tooth, this tooth, and this tooth. You got 4 hard stops. Now that looks a little close, so I'll go back in and look at that. Make sure I'm far enough away. And I can even turn back on this. Let's see, let's go to surfaces. Change the translucency out. So yeah, it's coming out the central fossa. So that's gonna be good. So it looks good. This is our surgical guide that we'll use for our case. We have 4 hard stops, not resting on soft tissue. I prefer hard stops, and all I have to do is 3D print this. That's it. I'll save our data and then export this as a STL file.